Hey, Challenge A. I hope that you're doing some school outside. Just finished doing some reading with Jaden. So let's talk about yesterday. We drew the world on the balloon, so the other half got to participate in that. Other half of the class, so that was fun. In research, we talked about the eye. And we talked about how there are more identifying features in the iris than there are in fingertips. And that was like the fun fact of it all. So they drew color drawings of the eye. Okay, so in exposition, we discussed Crispin, and we talked about the very beginning of the book when Bear and Crispin come into relationship together, and whether or not Bear is good or bad in the beginning. And we wound up having a really good exercise in let's go right to, if we're asking this question about whether Bear was good or not in the beginning, let's go right to that moment and review. So we actually read aloud their first little interaction up until the point that Bear makes him take the oath of to be his servant or slave. And we then kind of split up into teams. It was me, Ember, and Abigail that thought that Bear, even though his actions were a little sketchy and he did seem a little suspect, that he actually had Crispin's good in mind from the beginning. The rest of the class said no. Bear started out with being a bad person. And so we had a little debate in that, and my point in doing that was to practice refutation, because we let those saying that Bear was not a good person, he did not have a good heart in the beginning, we let them make a statement, a proof, if you will, and then we came back at that and said that is inadequate because. And so we practiced that exercise in that the students, as they made their statement about Bear's character in the beginning, it had to be from the book. It had to be something grounded, and then we had to refute it. We had to say it's inadequate because, and we had to use something from the book. So I think that was a beneficial conversation to practice that, because remember, the students will use the same essay number 6 to write this paper for Crispin, as well as their paper for Bronze Bow. The students, I think, like the Bronze Bow paper will serve as their blue book. So keep that in mind. And the other day somebody brought up about not being able to read their Amos Fortune papers. That's so funny that that's so important to them. And I was like, well, yeah, it was at the semester break, and so that was just kind of your blue book exam for exposition. And so that was just kind of between you and your parent, because we didn't have the class opportunity to share that. And so they love to share. Make sure that your student, encourage them to get into Bronze Bow this week. I try to encourage them to be super motivated in a time that no one wants to be motivated. In terms of Latin, I said, if nothing else, please make sure that you are reviewing your vocabulary 30 minutes a day. We played a little game, and it was apparent that some are continuing to drill vocab and some are not. Cope household. So there's that. Everybody was well prepared, and that made the day go so well. So just stay on them, guys. Stay on your students, checking in with them daily. Show me what you've done. I need to see a drawing. I encourage them in debate that they've got to learn Australia, which is, not a big deal. Antarctica, not a big deal. And so I encourage them to make one of their maps this week, a cumulative map, the entire world from memory, just to see what they could do. I think that sums it up. This is record time. hang in there. Continue to stay on top of them. They're wanting to slack off. I know, because I have 3 that want to slack off in my house right now. They don't want to do school anymore. I understand. So try to get creative. Take them outside. That's what we did this morning with Jaden. I did school on the patio, and encourage them to get in there early and get out so that they can go play. Get in and get out. Get into your books, get it done, and go outside. Love y'all.